Nothing is free. Learn English through story English listening practice. When I was young, I believed something very simple. I believed that if you waited long enough, good things would come to you for free. I believed life would feel easier with time. I believed someone would eventually notice my struggles and help without asking for anything in return. I was wrong. I grew up in a small town where people worked hard and spoke little. My father woke up before sunrise every day. I remember the sound of his boots on the floor, slow and tired, even before the birds began to sing. My mother stayed quiet in the mornings, making coffee and packing lunch, her face calm but serious. Nobody talked about dreams. Dreams felt expensive. As a child, I thought adulthood would be different. I thought adults had answers. I thought adults understood how the world worked. But as I got older, I learned something painful and honest. Most adults are still guessing. Most adults are still learning. And most adults pay a price for every lesson they learn. When I moved to America, I carried that old belief with me. I thought opportunity was free here. I thought success was waiting on the sidewalk like loose change. I thought English would come naturally just by living among English speakers. At first, everything felt exciting. The streets were wide. The buildings were tall. The supermarkets were full of colors and sounds. People smiled and said hello even when they did not know me. It felt welcoming. It felt open. It felt easy, but that feeling did not last. The first time I tried to speak English in public, my voice felt small. My words came out slowly, carefully, like I was stepping on thin ice. The cashier looked at me politely but with confusion. I repeated myself. My face grew warm. A line formed behind me. People waited. I felt their patience, and I felt my fear. I went home that day and sat in silence. I realized something heavy. Living in America did not automatically give me English. Smiling at people did not give me confidence. Time alone would not fix my fear. Nothing is free. I began to notice how much effort other people were putting into their lives. I watched my neighbor jog every morning, even when it was cold. I watched co-workers stay late, learning new skills, asking questions, failing quietly, and trying again. I noticed how people who spoke well had once spoken badly. People who were confident had once been afraid. That realization hurt, but it also woke me up. I decided to stop waiting. I started small. Very small. I spoke English to myself in the morning. I described what I was doing. I spoke slowly, clearly, without rushing. I did not worry about grammar. I did not worry about sounding smart. I worried only about one thing. Showing up. At night, I listened to simple English stories. Not difficult ones. Not fast ones. Stories made for beginners. Stories that felt calm and human. I listened while cooking. I listened while cleaning. I listened while resting my tired eyes after a long day. At first, I understood very little. Words passed by like clouds. But I did not stop. I told myself something important. Understanding will come later. Right now, listening is enough. Some days, I wanted to quit. After work, my body felt heavy. My mind felt full. I told myself I deserved rest. I told myself tomorrow would be better. But deep down, I knew the truth. Progress does not happen when you wait for energy. Progress happens when you act tired. So I kept going. I wrote sentences in a notebook. Simple sentences about my day. I wrote about coffee. I wrote about work. I wrote about the weather. Sometimes I read them out loud. Sometimes I corrected them. Sometimes I just smiled at how far I had come. Slowly, my brain changed. One day, something surprising happened. I dreamed in English. Not perfectly. Not beautifully. But clearly enough to notice. When I woke up, I laughed softly. My brain was working even when I slept, but confidence does not grow in silence. It grows in action. The hardest part came next. Speaking to real people, the first conversation felt uncomfortable. My words felt slow. My accent felt loud. My mind searched for vocabulary like it was digging through a messy drawer. But the other person listened. They waited. They smiled. They did not rush me. That moment taught me something powerful. Most people are kinder than your fear tells you. Still, not every experience was kind. Some people finished my sentences. Some people looked impatient. Some people corrected me in ways that felt sharp. Each moment stung. Each moment made me question myself, but pain teaches faster than comfort. I learned to listen closely. I learned common phrases. I learned how Americans actually speak, not how textbooks speak. I learned the rhythm, the pauses, the emotions behind the words. English stopped feeling like a school subject. It started feeling like a tool. A bridge. A way to connect, and connection changed everything. When I could finally express myself, even imperfectly, I felt lighter. I felt seen. I felt human again. I could joke. I could explain. I could ask questions. I could say no. I could say yes. I realized English was not just a language. It was freedom, but freedom has a cost. I gave up comfort. I gave up excuses. I gave up the idea that someone would save me. I paid with time. I paid with effort. I paid with embarrassment. I paid with patience. Nothing was free. One evening, I sat with a friend who was struggling the same way I once had. They asked me how I learned English. They hoped I would tell them about a secret app or a magic trick. I told them the truth. I told them it takes work. I told them it takes courage. I told them it takes showing up even when you feel stupid, tired, or afraid. They looked disappointed at first. Then thoughtful, because deep down, we all know the truth. We just do not like it. Growth is earned. Over time, English stopped being something I practiced. It became something I lived. I thought in English. I felt in English. I argued and joked and dreamed in English, but I never forgot where I started. I never forgot the fear at the cashier. I never forgot the silence at home. I never forgot believing life would be easier if I just waited. Waiting never changed my life, action did. Now, when I hear someone say learning English is impossible, I smile. When someone says they are too old, too busy, too tired, I understand. I felt that too, but I also know something else now. Nothing is free. Confidence costs fear. Skill costs effort. Change costs discomfort. But the reward is always worth it. If you are listening to this story and struggling with English, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. Your brain is not weak. You are simply in the middle of the process. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait for permission. Start small. Speak slowly. Listen daily. Make mistakes proudly. Keep going quietly. One day, you will look back and realize you are no longer the person who was afraid to speak. You paid the price, and you earned the freedom. I share stories like this every day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.